Let's jump straight to it. I don't know how long we got here, but you and Benavidez, what's going on?
I don't know. Seeing Eddie then, he said got a few meetings this week and he'll let me know what the plan is, but I don't know. I've had a bit of a rest after my fights. I'm back in the gym now and ready to see what the next move is, but I don't exactly know what it is, but regardless of who it is, I know I'm in a good position, so it'll be a good fight either way.
You've been in obviously elite opponents, but Benavidez is up now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a very, very good fighter. Someone I like, I rate, and I've always kind of, I thought we were both world champions at the same time down at 168, and it was a fight I've always thought will happen at some point. It probably should have happened back then, it didn't, but now we're both at 175. It's a fight that I like. I think stylistically it should be a good one as well, so we'll see if that's the next option. I'm sure it'll be a good one.
When we hear talks like progressing, how advanced are them talks, to your knowledge?
I have no idea. I know
Bird was here, I would grab him, but
grab hold of him and see what he just said. I think he mentioned that he thinks they might make me an offer from PBC, but there hasn't been any offer as of yet, so we're just going to have to sit and wait, but hopefully things get moving this week regardless of who it is. I want to know when the next fight is so I can get back in the gym properly.
If it's not Benavidez, what's like plan B or C? I
don't know. I say I'm interim champion. It looks like they're going to do the rematch, so I don't know what fight makes sense, but it's a good division. There's a lot of good fighters, so regardless of who I fight, I think it'll be a good one, but I honestly couldn't tell you what the next plan is. I kind of go missing for a little bit. I don't really go to many boxing shows, but I've come here, I've seen Eddie for the first time since the fight, I think, and he said he's having a few meetings this week and we'll know a little bit more.
Here to give the fighters what they deserve and the opportunity to fight for a world title. In our mind, it's hopefully we can fight Callum Smith, Anthony Yarde, and then we can fight Sudo Ramirez. Those are the fights that we're looking at, because I don't see that Better B wants to fight or B Bold wants to fight David Benavidez. But those will be the fights that we really want. Be Bold and Better B. Those are the fights that are very dangerous and very compatible and hard, to be honest, and those are the fights that the people want to see. But if they don't want to fight David, there's nothing we can do about it.
What can you tell me about a Callum Smith fight? Because Eddie Hearn's been vocal with the media saying that there have been talks with PBC side. So is that for you a front runner for what could be next up for David?
Like I said, we're down. We're ready to give. He should fight David Benavidez. He won a small title. I think it was a WBC interim or something like that. So I don't remember what he won, but he won something. So he deserves an opportunity. We're here to give him that opportunity to fight for a world title, and that's what he wants. So I don't know why he didn't take that fight, But like I said, if B-Ball Better doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, we would love to fight Callum Smith. Also, there's another fight that, hopefully.
Yeah, there's been no minor talks, what I hear from Eddie with PBC over getting the Benavidez fight done, but zero regarding Yarde so far. So, no, we wait and see, but I'm in a good position regardless of who I fight next. It should be a good fight, and the goal remains the same. I want to be a 2A world champion, and I believe I'll beat whoever I have to get there.
What are your thoughts on David Benavidez as a fighter, especially since moving up to light heavyweight?
He's a really good fighter. I've knew of him for a long time. We were both world champion at the same time, down at 168, and I've always rated him a fighter. I like his personality. I think he's good for boxing, and I think stylistically we make a pretty good fight together. So it's definitely a fight that I always feel, like I said in another interview, I feel about to retire tomorrow. The one fight that I feel probably should have happened and never was the Benavidez one. Like I said, we were at 168 together. We were both massive 168, so both had the potential to move to 175. We both have now, so I think it's a fight that will happen at some point. Hopefully, it's next, and let's say he's WBC world champion now, so there's a lot more at stake.
We've talked to Liam about his future, Callum. Very much in the
Everyone's on the same team.
Benavidez Smith talks, Eddie. I know you've had an offer. How far off is that from what you guys want?
I think there's potential for that fight. Callum's got a way up now, defending that interim world title or fighting David Benavidez. The key for Callum is to try and become a 2-division world champion. It's a very difficult job because you've got Benavidez and Dimitri Bivol. There's no easy touches, and he knows that. So he had a great fight with Boazzi last time out, and he'll make a decision over the next couple of weeks.
What do you make of Chris Eubank Jr. being pulled before the board to discuss it?
What's going on YouTube? Witty P dropping in one time. What's the saying? If it walk like a duck and it quack like a duck, we got a duck. Yes, we got a duck on our hands. Callum Smith he's ducking David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, and I made a video on these two months back, and I say these two need to fight because I knew Arturo Benavidez and Dimitri Bivol, they were going to have their trilogy, and David Benavidez, he had just come off his win over David Morrell, and I say, oh, these two need to fight. They need to fight. And Callum Smith, he just had a great win. He just had a great win, you know? And Callum Smith, he was that was considered like a 50-50 fight. His latest win against Buatse, that was like considered a 50-50 fight. It was. And he looked good in that fight. And Callum Smith, he's ducking David Benavidez. And I know this because Eddie Hearn, when the fighter and the promoter, they keep putting it back on each other, like you see in the intro, at the beginning of the video, that means it's a duck. The promoter, he doesn't want to, throw his fighter under the bus, so he say, I'm waiting on Callum Smith and things like that. So that's what Eddie Hearn is saying, and Callum Smith is playing silly, like he doesn't know if Eddie Hearn is setting up the fight, So it's a duck. It's a duck. It's clear as day. That's why I put all the videos together like that at the beginning, because it's a duck. Clear as day. Then Benavidez, his team, they say they'll go over there to fight Callum Smith if they have to. They'll go over there to fight Callum Smith if they have to. It'll be a great fight. It'll be a great fight. Like, they need to fight. They have the trilogy coming up. Callum Smith is the interim champion. That Benavidez have a title at 175, so it's like, why not? Why not? And then the winner of this fight, they could fight the winner of Bivol and Benavidez. Because that Benavidez, he say Anthony Yarde could potentially be in the mix if he doesn't get the Callum Smith fight, and Callum Smith said Anthony Yarde could potentially be in the mix if he doesn't get that Benavidez fight. But these two need to fight each other. Yes. And just to give you more context, that Benavidez and his team, they said they're willing to go over there and fight. Just to let you know, it's a duck. Like I say, if it walk like a duck and quack like a duck, it's a duck. Eddie Hearn shares Callum Smith update as David Benavidez talks continue and Liverpool plan emerges. Callum Smith beat Joshua Buatse last time out. Eddie Hearn has revealed Callum Smith could defend his WBO interim light heavyweight title in Liverpool in October as talks continue with David Benavidez. Smith moved one step closer to becoming two-weight world champion when he beat Joshua Buatse on points back in February. The victory in Saudi Arabia not only secured the 35-year-old WBO interim light heavyweight title, but also put him in position to face Dimitri Bivol. However, it appears that Bivol will take on Arturo Benavidez in a trilogy fight later this year, which has resulted in Smith possibly taking on Benavidez. Speaking to Ring Magazine, recently Benavidez promoter Samson claimed his man was ready to come to England and take on the former Archbishop Beck people. He said it's not easy to find the right guy to fight Benavidez. We're also ready to go to England and fight Smith if the deal is right. Either fight is a good fight for boxing. We'll see what happens. At this moment, there are two excellent challengers, but it's not up to me, PBC, or David Benavidez. It's up to Eddie Hearn if he wants to make the deal. We're one call away. He said it's a great fight, and Callum wants to become a two-division world champion, but ultimately to do so, you got to beat Benavidez or Bivol, and it's not easy. But he's the interim world champion and is going to be in line for a shot at Bivol, and there's a chance he could face David Benavidez around October time. We're still negotiating with PBC, so we will see. And if he does do that, he will defend his interim world title in Liverpool or Northwest around the same time. Quack, 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 quack. Yes. Like I say, I made a video on these two months ago, probably back in February, right after David Benavidez beat David Morrell, and say, oh, these two need to fight. These two need to fight. After Callum Smith, he beat Buatse, and David Benavidez beat Morrell, I say, okay, these two need to fight because more than likely, Benavidez and Bivol was going to have their trilogy. So, especially if Bivol had split, and that's what happened. Benavidez won the first one, Bivol won the second one, so it's split. So they got to fight. They got to fight. Like I say, I don't know if it's gonna happen because Callum Smith, he got slow feet. He got slow feet. And I know how Eddie Hearn talking when one of his fighters is ducking. He tried to say, oh, he's gonna make a decision in the next week or so, but it'll just eventually phase out. He'll have another opponent. That's how Eddie Hearn talk when one of his fighters is ducking. Yes, that's how he talks. And then before you know it, he'll be scheduled to fight Anthony Yarde. And then Eddie Hearn will say, oh, the talks just fell out. He'll all of a sudden say the talks just fell out, we lost communication and shit like that. And he'll have a fight scheduled with Anthony Yarde or something like that. So this is a duck. I'm letting everybody know right now. This is a duck. If you're a real boxing fan, this is a duck. You know that. Quack, quack. Walk like a duck. Quack like a duck. It's a duck. Yes. Super middleweight or light heavyweight. These two were gonna meet at super middleweight as well. You know, 168. At one point they were in talks, but fight at light heavyweight now. I don't know, 175. You know, Callum Smith, big light heavyweight. Benavidez, he's being comfortable with the weight, so be a great fight. But let me know what y'all think about these two mixing it up. Leave something in the comments, you know. But comment, like, subscribe, talk some boxing. You know I love it. That's where you can help us share the video. If it entertainment, hit that cash up, baby. We're gonna knock another one out. Bah, bah, bah. Let's get it.